Welcome. Tonight we have a creepy ghost story written exclusively for this channel. I hope you like it. Now let's get into it. It was a cold winter morning, and the sun had just begun to rise. A young girl, maybe 25 years old, ventured into the woods, wearing a bright blue parka and red mittens. She was an intern in a large city, so all she wanted to do was explore nature, taking in the sights and sounds of the forest around her. Suddenly, she heard a sound that rooted her to the spot. A crunching, gravelly noise, like someone walking close to her. The horror of what she might find kept her still, breathing out of her mouth in quiet puffs. But eventually, her curiosity won out. She began walking toward the source of the noise, feeling a bit of trepidation mixed with excitement. 30 seconds later, she stumbled upon the remains of someone's camp. What was once a vibrant spot filled with laughter and life was now silent and eerie. Clothes were strewn across the ground, and the campfire had long since been put out. The girl searched around in confusion, trying to make sense of it all, when she spotted something that made her mouth dry and tears fill her eyes. She touched the tips of her fingers to her lips as she gasped. A dirty skull lay cracked on one of the logs near the fire. Quickly, her eyes darted about, searching for the rest of the body, but she didn't find any hint of bone in the vicinity, and she dared not poke her head into one of the tents. Then she heard a rough, dragging sound, like someone scraping a tree, and it was as if her body was guided by a primal instinct. She took off running through the forest, unsure of which direction she was heading as branches whipped her face. One time she tripped over a root, and as she pushed herself to her feet, she thought she saw a figure wearing a ragged plaid shirt and gray pants. She kept going, and eventually, a wooden cabin with broken windows and the front door ajar, attached only by the bottom hinge, came into view. She pushed inside the front door, then closed it behind her best she could. It was dark and quiet inside the cabin. A staircase with broken steps led up to another level, and decorating the ascent were framed photos. One photo, near the bottom of the stairs, was of a young man with short dark hair and a defiant smile. He wore a red plaid shirt. On a side table pressed against the stairs was a leather-bound journal. The girl glanced out the windows of the cabin, and spotting no one, she slowly opened the diary and began to read. Her breath caught in her throat as she discovered the horrible truth of the author's past. The journal was filled with tales of horror and misery written in a dark and eerie scrawl. One passage read like this: "It's been a week since we've caught our last rabbit, and one rabbit really isn't enough for a family of 5. Not at all. I want to eat the pages of this book. Mom says we can't feed our cat scraps anymore. I'm afraid Dad will kill the cat, and I kind of want him to." A few days later, according to the journal entry, was the following: "My little sister had been missing for a few days. Mom says she wandered off in the woods while she was playing. Luckily, that same day, we had some good luck. Dad found a couple of rabbits, so we could eat, even though I felt bad Ashley couldn't join us. I'm worried she'll freeze out there all alone." A week after that was the last entry. "I don't think that was rabbit. Mom and Dad are going to have to pay for what they've done." Outside, the wind was howling through the trees, adding an extra layer of horror to the already grim story unfolding before the girl's eyes. She found herself unable to look away as she read about that family's terrible fate. unable to ignore the feelings of pity and sorrow that welled up within her. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the girl put the diary down and sighed. She heard a deep, raspy voice. "You like to read other people's diaries?" She jumped and scrambled to her feet. Just in front of her was the man she thought was following her before. He wore a red plaid shirt, just like the boy in the photo, and gray pants. His hair was down to his shoulders, and scruff covered his face, but she could still see that defiant grin. Then his lips turned into a scowl. "You judging my family?" Shaking, the girl answered, "No, I feel bad what you went through." "We don't need your pity." The girl's mind went blank. She had no idea how to respond, so she just bit her bottom lip and searched around for an exit. She considered trying to climb through a broken window, but the man would catch her immediately. Instead, she said, "Did you kill the campers in the woods?" The grin returned to the man's face. That was another pair that was poking their noses into something that wasn't their business. But I didn't kill them. It was two guys. One of them found out the other was sleeping with his girlfriend. The idiots killed each other. The girl's mouth formed an O. The man leaned against the side of the door and laughed. "You're not very smart, are you?" The girl gritted her teeth and clenched her hands together. She had worked hard to get where she was in life. She wasn't going to let this guy call her stupid. "Relax," he said. And her blood boiled so hot it could have burned the devil himself. "You read my diary. You saw my picture over there. Did you not read the year?" The girl scrambled to open the journal again and search for the year. 1921. "Are you going to kill me?" she breathed, and the man scoffed. "Ghosts can't kill people, but you're standing in a very old house." With that, the wooden floor cracked, and the girl gripped the table stand next to her, but it was useless. Both she and the table fell through the hole in the floor until she hit her head on the cement in the basement. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this ghost story, you might like the ghost story on the screen now. It tells the tale of a doll that gets a little too attached to its owner.